Hello and welcome to Politically Incorrect, coming to you tonight from Delhi's Sri Venkateshwara College. As always, I'm joined by two of the country's best-known political commentators, Manishankar Iyer and Shopun Dasgupta. Well, much has already been said about Mayawati's 685 crore Dalit Prerna Sthal in Noida. Her detractors have slammed her extravagance. Her political detractors have questioned this kind of expenditure of public money. But many have also vigorously defended her right as the first Dalit woman chief minister of India's largest state to establish such a symbol of Dalit power and pride. But the question we're asking tonight is whether Mayawati's monuments are as much about her declaration of her political future as they are a rewriting of history. And let me begin with you, Shopun. Her constant emphasis about the fact that her political monument or park on the east bank of the Yamuna is almost a counterpoint to the Nehru-Gandhi family's memorials on the west bank of the Yamuna. What do you make of these statements? What sort of political messaging are we getting from Mayawati?
Well, there are two aspects to this. Firstly, if you ask the question, she spent about 650 odd crores for this monument. Could she have utilized this better? The answer unequivocally is yes. Of course she could have utilized it much better. There's much that needs to be done in Uttar Pradesh, whether in the forms of hospitals, whether in the form of schools, or even targeted benefits for the community whose cause she seeks to espouse. That's very much there. But at the same time, she has a point when she says that there are monuments which are needed for specific sections of the population. I think one of the problems, one of the flaws in our understanding of India is that we often see India as one composite nation. And a composite nation which is defined only, unfortunately, in terms of the Nehrus and the Gandhis. There are many other sub-histories which are there. And those sub-histories are equally important for the pride of particular communities. Now, whether Mayawati will be the pride of her community in 50 years or 100 years is another matter altogether. But there's no question that for the moment, although she's not the first Dalit chief minister, I think there were people like Jagannath Paharia and others who were chief ministers before. But at the same time, as a woman popularly elected chief minister, she has her pride of place. Now then you want to question the aesthetics of that. Should a living person, build a statue to herself? I mean, that's a question everyone asks. And it certainly offends our sense of aesthetics, because that's not done. But what is not done in one section of the community might be seen as a defiant assertion to someone else. And I think that's very important to point out, that to keep it in perspective, that there is no easy way of debunking what many people consider to be a sandstone eyesore on the east bank of Delhi.
Mani?
Well, I'd warned you that this was not going to be a debate, because I agree with almost everything that Shopun has said. I think there's only one point on which he's gone seriously wrong. When we talk of a composite India, we refer to our unity in diversity. And if that diversity is not respected, there can be no unity. And although Shopun won't agree with me, one of the reasons why this Nehru-Gandhi family has been so dominant in Indian politics for the last 70 years, it's not just after independence, but from the time of Motilal Nehru onwards, which would make it 80 years, is that somehow various segments of this very diverse country tend to identify themselves with this family and don't believe that this family has any sectarian face. But at the same time, this attempt at promoting unity through diversity sometimes comes a cropper. And I think during the decade of the 1990s and into the first decade of this century, we've been having another kind of identity politics. There's the old bogus Hindu identity politics of the BJP, which need not concern us. I hope it will get crushed under the wheels of Advani's Rath Yatra. But what about the castes? I think the oppressed castes of India who are very often also the oppressed economic sections of India, do feel a need to assert their identity. And certainly down in Tamil Nadu, which as far as I know Dr. Ambedkar never visited, in every village in the Harijan colony, you'll find statues, sometimes somewhat imaginative statues, of Dr. Ambedkar. And he's always portrayed as being dressed in a suit, with a tie, with shoes. In other words, representing the aspirations of those whom he sought to represent. And therefore, I would be the last to criticize any attempt at promoting a sense of self-respect, a sense of pride,
but do you
a
see
sense
this
of identity
as going beyond
on the part of those segments of our population which have been severely discriminated against for thousands of years.
NDTV's cricket app, Android and iPhone, fastest scorecard, special analysis, and much more. Download free. ndtv.com/apps.